Okay, I think I did it. Of course, I thought I did it about a dozen times here. But I think that's it. I think I'm going to just put it all back together, but I'm going to leave it like this. I'm not going to rush this back together. No reason to. I can get it back together tonight, even. Just leave it out here. Hey, maybe there's other stuff I can do to it. Maybe there's more things I can break on it. So I think that's it. I'll be putting this back together. I may or may not stick it on the end of this video. I haven't decided yet. So thanks so much for watching, and let's hope it's fit. What's it doing? Oh, for God's sakes! So this is a heating up and cooling down thing that's going on here. Oops. So that's what the volume turned right down. And so it's just come back. Pushing on the headphones. This is volume right down, so it's totally broken again. That's just fading in the signal. Find out if it's just hot and cold. I'm going to heat it up. I'm going to heat it up with this. This is set for, I'm not sure. I think it's set for 100 degrees C out of here, so it's pretty hot. Here we go. Over this way first. Over in here. You're right on the control. put a fair bit of heat into the whole area. And it's just possible that it's taken time for the heat to get to the thing. And while I think it's this now, it's really heat that flowed earlier, from earlier. Stuff. So when I'm using that heat gun, it's flowing heat all over the place, right? It's just hot air, it's going everywhere. It looked like I'm heating this, but of course I'm heating, heating everywhere. Boy, this just keeps on going. Cuba. Can't turn it like that with the... Okay, it's no antenna. No antenna, no signal. The automatic volume control has turned everything up full. Oh my gosh. Well, for sure applying heat to this does the trick. What about these guys? I just put the heat on longer. It's too hot over here. I've been chasing the wrong thing. Can't do much once it stops. Thank you. Try that again. First pin. Just heat. I try not to make any mechanical movement there. Okay, we'll try the other end here. First pin on the other end. Okay, we're going to work our way across the pins towards the one that's clearly sensitive. The one before it. Two of them did that now. I try putting some heat using the soldering iron higher up on the bracket, here, where there's nothing to do with these pins. It still has something to do with this bracket. It's plastic, right? I'm heating up metal right around plastic. It's not good. Trying not to put too much heat in. Not enough. What exactly is going on? So now it's in proper it was in proper operation. Is there some kind of mechanical thing happening? This piece of metal is not this piece of metal. And they're going in and out of contact. I heard that. It sure looks like one piece of metal. And one that's too big and one that's too small. Pretty loose. So I'm starting to suspect there's something actually in the volume control itself that's doing this. Which would be bad. I'm taking this apart because I can. So now this is freer to move relative to this board now. It's not restrained so much. It has nothing to do with this movement. Heat. Heat. So some of these little contacts have traces down. And they have no trace visible on the bottom. The trace must be up on the top. If we're talking about a cracked trace on the top. Oy, 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 oy. That doesn't do it. It'll do it eventually. That's not the sensitive one. The sensitive thing is the single lead. seems to be only heat sensitive. It's all bad. Bad, 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 bad. So to get this right off the board, man alive. The board has to be dropped. The board is this big. It's the whole size of the radio. I can loosen this and wiggle these things now. That's pretty interesting. Just heated it up, of course. Woo. It's a big waiting game now. Here it comes. Wow, wow. Excuse me. Well, here's another fine one. Oh my gosh. How much time can you spend on a volume control? I gotta stop for a while. I'm choking up here, so good luck to me. Okay, so I've been doing lots of studying of the schematic, and really hard to find where this control is in the schematic. The bass control has the word bass written above it, and the treble control has TRE written beside it. And the volume control appears to have nothing, just says 100K, and it shows that it's a potentiometer, so it's in the right spot to be the volume control, so I'm pretty sure I saw it. So what that amounts to is it's pretty much an ordinary volume control potentiometer. 3 terminals. This is a double one for left channel, right channel, so it should have 6 active terminals. 2 of them should be grounded, 2 should be on the sliders, and 2 should be at the high end, so to speak. So the radio switched off, and applying a ground here. Picking that spot is a good ground. I come along, we touch the first one, get a 0. The second one, we also get a 0. It's kind of odd. Third one, okay, 6.4. Turn the control. Third one. So that's the slider. I think we could say that. Next control, next terminal. Check it out. Open. 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 Yeah, I'm convinced that these are the ones that are acting up. This one here in particular. Yet these ones all appear to be open right now. So my best bet is to start fooling around with the soldering iron on these. There's a short. Short again. No, I'm not shorting that. Now I tried this once already. Remember I put a lot of heat over here and nothing happened? I got over here right away. Gonna try it again. Start with this big lug. This is a stereo receiver, particularly on FM, of course. Here we go. There it goes. Didn't go all the way this time. Because the volume's turned up, that's why. So, same thing. Apply the heat. Quiet it down. Let it cool off. What do we get? We get that. Sure looks like it's something internal to this control here. That's a big problem. What could have happened internally, and what could I possibly do about it? One thought is to switch these controls around, but I've already noticed that. No, I'll take that back. I was going to say there were different ratings on these. I don't think there is necessarily. They're all 100K, I think. You know, so I could take the squelch, which I never use, out, put it here. Before doing anything like that, I want to know this is really broken. How could you ever tell that? There's really nothing I can do with it sitting in the board here. What happens when you heat up a pin on this? I think it's got to come out. I think I have to take it out. Ooh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some of the screws that are holding the board down. And I'm going to try to desolder this volume control and get it out onto the bench all on its own. I'm hoping I don't have to take this board right off. I can literally bend it a little bit just to get the clearance I need to pop this out. That's my hope. It looks like I can succeed at that. Let's take this one out here. And of course, straining these boards, all bad. It's all bad. And also holding the board in are these. These all have to come loose. This one is loose. That's interesting. This one's loose. That's interesting. Enough clearance here? Yeah, I think so. So, ooh, can we see a little more in there now? Not really. I gotta remove the solder from here and then pop this guy out. Okay, that's the challenge. this usually doesn't remove all the solder. It's still soldered in. It's just with very little solder. So you may be able to break it all free. Okay, next stage. I'm going to loosen these two big guys first. I'm going to turn this into a cold solder joint. Not going to happen there. Wow. Solder. I have a solder vacuum I may have to use. Gotta get one of these two big sides loosened up, and I can work on the rest one at a time. I don't think it's gonna happen. Trying to pull any solder away from trying. Okay, is there anything else holding this in? Don't think so. Take a closer look here. See where we're at with this. Very hard to look at solder spots here. So I'm going to try to loosen those little wires, get them all loose, and then I should be able to work on one side or the other and break that out. First, the little wires. The little wires. So I notice they're all in the bottom of the hole they're in. So I think if I lift them up, I can get them off. Here's one. Bend it up a bit. 2. 3. So I'm getting them off the edge of the hole. They're coming through where they're stuck and getting them more in the middle. They may not be stuck. Whoop, that one went right up to the top here. Okay, this one here. Okay, this guy. Okay, let's see. Now they're probably all still stuck, but it'll be much less solder now. Let's check it out. So most of them do not look stuck anymore. They might be soldered up on the top though, but so the fourth one from the left looks soldered, and so does the fifth. Fourth and fifth still look soldered on there. Try sucking them all again. Big terminals here. Soldering iron tightened out. This is probably the strongest one here, solder wise. Okay. Nothing moving yet. Come on, man. Really these two side pieces that are holding it on there. All those wire leads look like they are really ready to pull through. This last one has probably all still soldered a little bit. So what I'll do, grab each one and try to, that one's free, that one's free. wicking away some of the solder too. Yikes. What just happened there? Is that a piece of trace that's flying around there? Ah! Oh, got the camera right here. Well, I don't know what that weird thing is hanging out there, other than, you know, I think it's a piece of the copper circle that's come off, the copper circle trace that is supposed to be soldered to. Son of a gun. Okay, so I'm going to take the soldering iron, I'm going to apply pressure and try to push this right through. On the assumption everything else is loose, all the little wires are loose. Gotta wedge it. Gotta wedge it. Come on. You can go now. I'm giving you permission. Pop out, everybody, pop out. Is there any movement? No, you know what I'm doing? I'm bending the, I'm distorting the shape of the case of the volume control here. Son of a gun. This is a monstrous thing. I think it's going to come out. Sharper. Yeah, the ring just fell right off. It's right there. Well, you can't see it with the camera here. The little ring that actually, it's this one that fell off. The other one's still hanging there. None of this is good. There's nothing good going on here. Oh my God. I think it's going. Yeah, I think it's moved. I think I moved it. Who's holding it? Probably soldered all these back in now. It's definitely pulling out. Okay, let's switch sides. There's the copper ring has come off. Okay, it's coming out. Looks like it's starting to bang into this. So how far out can we get the board? Quite far. Okay, bit by bit it's coming out. Why is it so hard to come out? Ooh, what was that sound? That was an unpleasant sound. You know, one of the things is I soldered this at the back here, didn't I? Yeah. Got the solder on the top of the board here. Son of a gun. That's out. here. I should have done that a little while ago. I don't need this plugged in here anymore. Okay, I need to pull this port out a bit. There it is. It's out. It's out. It's out. It's out. It's out. It's out. Phew. Wow. Oh, sorry for showing you. Forgetting which camera I've got going here. Well, there he is. 100K. Looks like you could take this apart, but God knows what would happen. Because there's two controls in here. Just a little tiny package. What am I going to do with it now? Well, these pieces have come out with junk on them. It is. It's like glue. Kind of weird. Let me show you on the close-up. Let's look at it on the close-up camera before I make a mistake here. It's a copper sleeve. So there was a copper sleeve that went right through the mounting hole here. So you could solder on the top but make contact into the bottom. The other way around, really. Solder on the bottom and somehow make contact on the top. Let's check out the top of this now. Where this came from. What do we see? A lot of egregious looking solder down there. That's how big the hole is. So, see, it's a pretty thick board. I'm pretty sure they had a copper sleeve coming right through. This really looks like a grounding surface. And it really looks like, so that's how the ground connection is made, at least for the frame. The frame of the. Now, would the frame have any electrical consequence? You wouldn't really think so. You wouldn't rely on that, I don't think. They would rely on all those pins, and there's a lot of pins there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pins. Of course, it can't be 6, it has to be 7. I don't know how you ever get 7. So we got to figure out what these pins are now. Because I have to figure out if the control itself is the problem. shorts are showing up. 100. 100 between 4 and 1. Turn the control. So we're looking between 4 and 1, and this is acting like a slider now. And it looks like what this really is, this is wrong. This is right. This is the slider. There's a bit of a pattern there, but it's kind of weird. So if that's the case, then what's happening between 4 and 6? That's 6. I could have done this an easier way. Oh my gosh. There. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. What's happening? 100. And if I turn the control, turn all the way to the stop. Capacitor. Back just a wee bit. So 620 ohms. So it sounds almost like the slider slides off the skid surface there, whatever you want to call it, which is kind of nutsy. I don't think they would make this that way. So when you reach the end of the run, it actually opens the circuit right up, and it just doesn't. It's nah. Okay, so we'll go back a little bit. Okay. So I think 4, okay, so 4 is the slider against 6. It's also the slider against 1. Let's go back there. Say. So if 4 slides against 6, it'll slide against 1 also. 58K, which seems to be what it's doing. $100K. $40K. So 4 is sliding against 1 and 6. And we think 3 is the slider for 2 and 5. $37, kind of in the middle. Turn it up all the way here. 106. So now between the two sliders we should see nothing, just as a check. So that would be between 3 and 4. That's okay. It should be open circuit. Perfect. Okay, so I finally figured out the pinout on this. And 7 is just, he's just along for the ride apparently. when we look at the connections, we can see that connection number 7 appears to go nowhere. Let me look on the other side here. Now I'll do it the high-tech way. Okay, so using a high-tech technique here, there appears to be no traces on this side of the board related to that control. They're all here. No trace on 1, no trace on 2. 1 and 2 are out of the picture. 1 and 2 need to be in the picture. No trace going to 1 and 2. You actually see these 2 traces on the board go down to these 2 points. There's nothing in them. They go nowhere. This just keeps getting weirder and weirder. So based on my pattern, 3 and 4 are the sliders. So if we look here, 1, 2. Am I counting these right? Like that? Yeah. 1, 2. So 3 and 4 are the sliders. What? They go to nowhere. They go to nowhere. Come on, man. Somebody. Before I have a total conniption here. Let's look at this a little closer with this camera. So, quite clearly, 3 and 4 head down to those 2 holes. Why are there so many holes? There's not a hole down there. Like, why so many places? I mean, yeah, sometimes different models use the same board in different ways. Okay, let's go on the back side of that. Maybe I just hadn't seen what's hooked up there. Oh yeah. Now wait a minute, is that them? Ah, sure looks like it. Okay, so there's a trace on the back, of course. Of course. See if I can stick something through there. Ooh, I need a little tiny pin to go through there. Hold on a second. I usually keep a pin. Usually, but not always. There's a very fine wire here. I can probably push through there. Okay, here we go again. There's a wire going through. There he is down there. There's no component in here. There must be like a conductive sleeve going through the board. Okay, and looking up here, this was the one that was heat sensitive. And on this side, look at this. Pin 1. Where's it going? I guess if I stare at it long enough, it'll suddenly answer it. Pin 1. Pin 1. Where is it going? This is really weird looking when you look at this. So, what's weird about it is these first 2 holes. They look like they're just onto this what I imagine is the copper grounding sheet here, but then the rest, these ones are all isolated away very carefully. So remaining 5 of them. So we look at the remaining 5. The remaining 5 have all got traces on the front here. The remaining 4. Well, that would be it then, wouldn't it? So these 2 are the sliders, and then they've got, it's hard for me to point here, these 2, and then these 2 are hooked up on the back. So right. Not really. They're grounded. Oh. Okay. So 1 and 2 are grounded, he says, speaking with a voice of authority. And suddenly all starts coming clear. 1 and 2 are grounded. 1 and 2 are the ones that I keep heating up and getting effects from. The radio behaves as if it's losing its ground. And both 1 and 2. Although, you know, I've never really checked, because this is actually a stereo machine. I've never really checked and see if both channels had gone. So, the answer would be to correct whatever it is that's gone wrong with the grounding on pins 1 and 2. And that could be done easily by just finding a any old ground terminal, like that right there. Well, there's probably lots of other opportunities up here. And then just taking these first 2 pins right to the ground, never minding what's happening up here. I guess this is what has failed, is the way they've connected to the ground mat there. And if you look at it, see what they've done there. So look, I'll draw it here. So if you look at that ground mat, you see it's got a pattern of circles. Maybe they're just trying to save copper, waste so much copper, like this. It has this pattern. Okay, and the copper, of course, is in here. So you want to take a look at it and make sure you know what I'm talking about, right? Nice little holes everywhere. And they've gone and they've drilled 2 holes right here. One here, and the other one's here, like this. They've blown away all the copper in here. You know, I think that's all it is. It's just barely or failing to make a contact. Is there an easy place here? It'd be easier to do it on this side. Extend wires from the pins down to a ground point. This is not a bad choice. I think I might have been able to figure this out without removing the part. We'll never know now. So, okay, wow, this is a monster job. Let me, I gotta rest up. I gotta rest up here. Okay, so time to put this back in, which I suspect is going to be just as challenging as getting it out. So I've got everything lined up. And of course, it's not going to fall right through these holes. It's probably going to require some soldering heat. There it goes. It's almost all the way in already. Need a bigger block. Doing that allows me to apply balanced pressure against the whole thing at once here. That's about it. That's set right down. So let me just try to get any one of these to grab. Nope, not going to fall out anyway. Not going to fall out. Okay, so here's the plan. I've been thinking about it in my head. That's where I do most of my thinking, in my head. These two large terminals, the bracket terminals, are supposed to be grounded. They become a potential grounding point for the ones I believe are poorly grounded now. Oh yeah, see the copper sleeve is gone. I think it's gone. So I can potentially hook up terminals 1 and 2 just to one of these, provided these have made a ground connection, which we will now test for. Let's see if we succeeded with that as soon as Jim can find his once again missing. Connect this to a ground point. We'll trust this as a ground point. Okay, we won't trust that. Maybe we'll trust this. Okay, there we are. We're grounded. We'll double check. Oh, I like that. What's the problem here? Hey, what's going on? This actually didn't make contact. So, ground, right, ground. We're in trouble here. I think I have it now. I still do not. Maybe that's not a real ground point. Okay, let's assume all these other controls are grounded. The bracket is grounded. We're on the bracket of 1. Ground. Okay, let's put in a 0 on the meter. Are we grounded? Yep. Are we grounded here? Well, if we're grounded on one side, we're grounded on the other. Grounded here. Actually grounded. I grounded here? No. Just because I haven't soldered those. So I'm going to solder everything back the way it should be. It may all work. Who knows? If it doesn't work, I will then cause a solder bridge between these 2 points and this thing. Just in here way too long today. No doubt about it. Soldering iron doesn't seem to throw much heat at the work here. What's going on? And these leads are so tiny, even with contact on the soldering iron, they don't draw enough heat. Sounds kind of weird. I think they're tiny, they'd be easy to heat up. The problem with doing these kinds of things is you're just about as likely to introduce a problem as you are to fix it. But without doing something, this radio is just useless. I guess I could have unplugged the speaker, abandoned the speaker. And yeah, there's nothing on this last one here. Abandon the speaker and rely on the outputs on the back, which is what I rely on anyway. I don't normally, but I carry this radio around. I use it on batteries. I take it outside in the summer. Do lots of fun things with it. So that's ready for testing now. It's ready for testing. I'm gonna just stop the camera, clean up my bench because it's too much of a mess before I make some kind of egregious error here. Just have a look. My bench never ever gets looking quite like this. That's because I thought this was going to be a minor project. Power in. Wow, that looked pretty good for a start. Come on down here and get a face full view here. Okay, here we go. Volume down. Come on, man. Oop. Volume up. That's right. No speaker connected. No speaker connected. Hey. Okay. Sort of cut the heart attack off halfway through there. Volume is down. Hiss is there. Okay. Yes, it's not working right. It's not working right. So we'll now do the temporary grounding. It's not much of a hiss this time. So I'm going to hang these up by the microphone again in hopes that that is a thrill. Okay. You should be able to hear those. Here's the volume control. Okay, I'm sure you heard that. If I can hear it, you can hear it. It's very low, but it shouldn't be there at all. Okay, we now take our super special grounder. We try to a known ground first. That's here. I can't just hold it there. Okay. Does the hiss go away? Not by my reckoning, it doesn't. Better ground. Where is there an even better ground? Oh my gosh. There's a heck of a lot of soldering going on over here. Let's see, where have we? Let me go to AM here. .640. I'm tuning the radio to 640. Not much coming in. It's still there, isn't it? So I'm going to apply heat here, and we'll see what happens. Really. So it's possible I've got soldering problems in here too. Okay, if this makes that sound go away. You know, lots of explicatives are rolling through my head right now. That was pin 1. Pin 2. And it came back and went away. Magic blowing breath. Pin 3. Doesn't do it. And this silly thing here. So what do you make of that? Yet when I apply an extraneous ground or an extra ground, you know, like, is there something about me? Why do all these radios find me? So that hasn't come back yet. Oh yes, it has. It's coming and going, huh? I mean, come on. Just wish I knew where there was an absolutely certain ground here. If it had eternal, it said GND on it. I would like that. Often the ground, great big fat traces are often indicate which ones are the ground. None here. Okay, but we can assume that all these posts on these other controls are grounded. We can't assume that. We can assume anything. Okay, so I'm clearly on pin 1. Grounding theory is crap. So pin 2. The groundy thing. Hey, let's hey, what am I thinking? Let's check this back with the ohmmeter. That I know the pin out. Again, I think this is a bracket 0. Pin 1 0. Pin 2 0. Is it really a 0? The 200 ohm scale will repeat that. Bracket 0.2, 0.3. Try it again. 0.2. Pin 1. 0.2. Pin 2. 0.3. Broken trace on the board, and I'm heating it up and cooling it down over and over, and a microscopic break is affecting this. Oh my gosh. think both those would sound pretty similar. Those are both the wipers. Sure don't sound the same, do they? Let me flip this to FM. FM, there's no question that there's a left channel, right channel thing happening. Of course, the decoder won't be on. Look at the difference. Wait, whoa, 1, 2, yeah, 3, 4. 3, 4. Need a little finger. Now that could be because only one channel is making it up to my headphones. Maybe something like that's happening. How do you like that? It's only one channel. Left channel. That's not helping. Okay. I gotta set things up differently here. The headphones not helping. Okay, here's what we got here. I plugged the speaker back into the machine. And what do you hear? I hear a hiss. The volume is right down. Volume up, volume down. I'm gonna pull out the speaker. Okay, no speaker sound now, but I've hooked a couple of phono cords down here into the microphone mixer I use for my videos. So we can listen to it the way I usually listen to this radio. I don't usually listen through the speaker. And this is what it sounds like when I listen that way. Okay, I had a few volume control problems there the last bit of the video, so I'm just trying to control it a little better this time. There. Pretty sure I had that blasted away. Why did it sound so chunky? Just tipped the wrong way. It's 640. Oh, 664. What's that? Oh, I was going to rotate it. Oh yeah, that's right. I got this disconnected. Alright, good. Really crappy. I'm not going to sweat over that. It's all about the sound here. So now this volume does nothing. So if I turn the volume down, the volume's down. There is no more perpetual hiss in this part of the radio. Oddly enough, this works fine. It's just the speaker that's gone crazy. The volume control here, it controls the amplification after the takeoff that you're listening to now. So this volume control doesn't do anything. But you can hear the signal is fine at this point. Well, okay, bottom line here. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what's going wrong with it. It's behaving in the weirdest way I've ever seen. Heating it up, fixes it, cooling it down, breaks it. I mean, I've certainly seen that kind of thing before, but what exactly is going on down here, I don't know. I thought the grounding the additional grounding would solve everything. Didn't seem to do anything. So I have to think it's an internal fault inside the volume control, where some contact is making break in there based on heat and stuff. That's the only way I can end up. It's the only way I can end up here. Okay, I'm going to leave it like this because I'm going to give some time for my synapses to connect. Maybe there's some more ideas in that head of mine that I can get out if I just give it a bit of time. So, wow, this has just been really disappointing, frankly. Boy, not expected at all. Hey, thanks for watching. And, you know, not everything works out in life, does it? You just got to kind of make the best with what you got. See ya.